What's good, my gods and goddesses? Y'all already know who it is, man. If you're watching this video, 9 times out of 10, you have suffered from social anxiety or are currently suffering from social anxiety. Me, myself, I have suffered from social anxiety. Who am I? Y'all can call me Shano, Solar Shano. We shining bright in this bit, man. We shining bright. So let me get into a little about my story. I've always been a shy kid when I was younger. I'm still quiet to this day, but I wouldn't consider myself to be shy, but I always used to be shy. And when I started growing up around my middle school phase, that's when I started to develop social anxiety. Why? I mean, you're in school, you're around a lot of kids, and y'all be talking about each other. Y'all be talking shit about each other. That's just how kids work. But me, I took it a little more personally, and that's when I started to develop like social anxiety, because I felt that I was being judged. Being in a group of people, being around a group of people, it was always like frightening, because like I didn't know how to socialize. You know what I mean? I was very nervous. I was shy. I didn't really know how to speak. I didn't have a voice for myself. That's just who I was. Like, the person who I was a couple of years ago is completely different from who I am now. Now, I'm a young, confident man. I'm not afraid to speak. My voice is heard. I have a voice now. I'm speaking to you guys through this video, through this camera. Two completely different people. And the point of this video, the main topic of today, is I want to share with you guys on how I got rid of my social anxiety. So whoever's watching this, maybe this can give you some insight. This can give you some help as to how to conquer yours, how to get rid of your social anxiety. So without further ado, let's get into it. When I started my spiritual self-development journey, I learned a lot about my own mind. When I sat down and I started meditating, I started to learn more about myself, and I started to dig in my own head. When it comes to social anxiety, the main problem is we're out and about and we're in social settings. We're so caught up in our head that we forget about literally everything else. And that's the main problem. That's the first thing that I had to stop doing, was to get out of my head. Your mind can be one of your biggest assets, but it can be one of your worst enemies at the same time. Your mind is like a prison. Like, you start getting trapped inside your own head, that you start allowing yourself to get consumed by your own negative thoughts, and inevitably you prevent yourself from staying present. Now, what does that mean in the context of like having social anxiety? As a socially anxious person, we are trapped inside our own heads, meaning that we're thinking about every single thing that could possibly go wrong. Let's say I'm at a mall or something, right? In a place that has a lot of people, and I'm walking around. I used to hate malls. I just used to going out. When I was out and about, I was worried about every single thing going wrong. I was self-conscious. That's the thing. I was self-conscious. I was always worried about, like, if somebody was looking at me, if somebody was judging me, if somebody thought I looked weird, if somebody, like, all these negative thoughts. And I got so consumed by them, it was like I was afraid of life. You know what I mean? Like, we're so afraid of life that we can't even like operate properly in a regular environment with people. We're supposed to interact with one another. We're all human. Now, in the frame of a socially anxious person, the frame of mind of a socially anxious person, we are so afraid that the worst possible things can happen, so we close ourselves off and we put ourselves in this little cage, this little bubbles, to where it's hard for us to exert ourselves. It's hard for yourself to start, operating like a normal human being. And the more I started to dig in my own brain, the more I started to realize that the way I was thinking people felt about me, the way I thought people were judging me, was really a mirror of my own thoughts, of my own mental frame. Because when I thought people were judging me, when I thought people thought I looked weird, I really felt that about myself. The way you think about yourself in the world is how you will see it. The thoughts and feelings that you have about the world, that is what you will see. It's like your thoughts create your reality. like as cliche as it sounds, and the reason we're socially anxious is because we have all these negative thoughts about ourselves, these negative feelings, and we project those feelings onto other people as if they're thinking those thoughts themselves, when really whole time they're not even paying attention to that. When the whole time whatever you feel as though they're judging you about, they're not even thinking about it. Hell, these people are not even paying attention to you unless you're having a conversation with them. And even then, they're not focused on you and all these negative traits, these negative things that you feel about yourself. They're focused on whatever conversation they're having with you. Or maybe they feel the exact same way, where they feel as though you're judging them. So it's like, when are we gonna stop getting out of our heads and be present and focus on having the conversation? Or if you're just walking in public, just feeling yourself. If we really think about it, if we take ourselves out of our own head, we realize that nobody cares, and it's not that deep. So when you're walking about and you're in a social environment, just get out of your head. The more we stay in our head, the more we gonna get consumed by our own negative thoughts, and that involves changing the way we think, which we can get into an entirely different video about that. That is an entirely different topic. But first thing I did when it came to getting rid of my social anxiety, I just stayed out of my head and I just started being present. Presence is life. Presence is key. Presence is flow. The next thing I did when I got rid of my social anxiety, I started exposing myself. I started exposing myself to more social situations. Your social anxiety is only triggered by when you're in social settings. And in order to conquer that social anxiety and actually start finding the root of the problem, getting rid of the problem is by putting yourself in more situations. Getting outside. Touch grass. For me, when I went to university, that's the only thing I will give about college, regardless of, education, the whole financial situation. As a former socially anxious person, my social anxiety died when I got to university. When I first went to school, I didn't have no friends who I knew who went to my school, at least until I started getting around. So I literally had to create my own environment. When I first moved in, one of the first things I did, I started walking around campus. I started getting a feel of my environment, no matter how many people I had in it. I just had to get outside. I couldn't be cooped up in that dorm all day. And one of the things I did is whoever I walked past, I greeted them. I would walk past somebody, hey, how you doing? Like a regular human being. And then this evolved to putting myself, they had like events. This involved me to start going to events by myself or with my roommate, and I would just branch off and just start talking to other people. You have to put yourself in those situations in order to navigate through them. I know it could be like nerve-wracking the first time, but it's the more that you do it, the more that you expose yourself to social situations, the more you start getting comfortable in them. If I didn't start doing that, I probably would have never met like the best friends in my life right now. Like, you limit yourself from opportunities by not exposing yourself and not putting yourself out there. We could get into social skills in another video, because that's essentially like, not only did I kill my social anxiety, but I started developing social skills. But the only way to conquer whatever it is you're going through in life is to face your fears. Cause when your time has come. But yeah, I exposed myself. And the last thing that helped me conquer my social anxiety is as simple as I wanted to stop being socially anxious. At some point, it stopped being about like having confidence or having the motivation to go out and do it. The person I was a couple of years back, I didn't like this person. And it's not so much that I hated myself, which it kind of was, but it was more so I wanted to change and create a new idea of who I was. Because whoever we say we are, whatever words we associate with ourselves, that's just who we become. So instead of having my name associated with being shy, being quiet, I wanted to change those around. I made the decision to change how I thought about myself. And that didn't come from like, oh, I like confidence just came out of nowhere. There's no secret technique to like gaining confidence. People think that in order to start, let's just say social anxiety, because this can be anything, they need confidence in order to do it. But little do they know, Confidence isn't something you just get. I wasn't born with confidence. Confidence is something that you create. It is created by challenging yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, betting on yourself, challenging the idea of what you thought was impossible and doing it anyway. The more you do it, the more you start to do those things, you start trusting yourself. That is confidence, being able to trust yourself in whatever situation you may come across. As I said, I didn't wake up one day and I was just confident. Like, this shit didn't happen out of nowhere. I didn't all of a sudden just start socializing with people, doing things, getting out of my comfort zone. I didn't just start coming on camera for no reason. I didn't just start coming on camera and just talking out of nowhere. I made decisions that aligned with a confident person. I started giving myself new labels: confident, bold, assertive. I started giving myself a new name that allowed me to start being more confident. It's not about what you do that makes you confident, but having the ability to do what you want. That is confidence. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is you have to make the decision, which I've talked about a lot in my last couple of videos. You have to want this. When you put yourself out there and you start socializing more, you start putting yourself in more social situations, you may be afraid of looking stupid, but honestly, even if you do look stupid, just do it anyway. In reality, you don't even look stupid. You're trying to challenge yourself and get out of your comfort zone. You're watching this video for a reason. You want to change this. You want to fix an issue that you have. That in itself should give you a level of confidence, because you're taking the steps to break and challenge yourself, to break an old habit, to break like a frame of mind. And that takes a lot. So clap for yourself. So definitely give yourself kudos, because not everybody's just going to be stuck in their own ways. But I say all that to say, the more you start doing these things that help get rid of your social anxiety, whatever idea, whatever negative frame of mind that you have created for yourself will die. So now it doesn't even matter what other people think. So, wrapping this video up, those are some of the things that I've personally done to get rid of my social anxiety. Hopefully everything I talked about can help whoever is watching this. Maybe you may be suffering from social anxiety. You don't know how to cure it. You don't know how to get rid of it. By watching this video, you've taken the first step. And now you kind of have an idea of where to start. With that all being said, I hope y'all learned something from this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is Solar Shano, signing off.